Hi everyone, my name is Selina Khunkhuna and I am very honoured to be asked to be this week's voice of RDaSH. I'm assuming that Toby is busy warming up for tomorrow's much anticipated rounders match, and that is the real reason why he's asked me to speak to you all today, but more about that later. For those of you who may not know me, I'm the new service clinical lead for talking therapies in the Trust. In RDaSH, we have 4 talking therapy services in total, one in Doncaster, Rotherham, North Lincolnshire, and a specific long-term condition service based in Doncaster too. However, before I go on to share some of the fantastic work we are doing within talking therapies itself, I thought it would be interesting to share a little bit about myself, and in particular my own lived experience of mental health, which in fact is what motivated me to train as a cognitive behavioural therapist and go on to support those with mental health difficulties within talking therapies since 2012. Working in the NHS for the best part of 16 years, I know that many of you and my colleagues in the past will have had their own stories and journeys to share in terms of lived experience. And like me, many of you may have chosen to work in the NHS for the very same reasons. So if I have a disclaimer before I share a bit about myself, it's simply this. My story is not special or unique. My story is just merely one example of the thousands of cases we hear every day in our day-to-day work. Mental health can and does affect anybody. So if I can say just one more disclaimer to you all before I talk about me, that is to look after yourself and your colleagues around you. Be kind and compassionate to yourself and each other. Okay, that's my Jerry Springer moment over. When I was in my 20s, while studying at the university in Manchester, my first time living away from home, I in effect had a mental health breakdown. Just shy of my 21st birthday, I was taken in as a voluntary patient on a mental health ward in Nottingham and was diagnosed with depression and stress-induced psychosis. As you can imagine, this was a life-changing moment for me and my family and friends. Coming from a background where I'd never even heard of depression before, never mind knew how to deal with it. My world collapsed, and there were some very dark and scary moments during this time. Reflecting back now on my 3 episodes of illness, all within my 20s, and often relapsing when I had naively stopped medication, I've come to understand that in my case, the root cause of my illness was my difficulty in accepting as a Sikh woman I was bisexual. I felt a sense of loss when realising that I may not be able to have the so-called dream wedding in my red outfit in a Gurdwara. And of course, there was the actual fear of coming out to my family and the wider community. After much support from the NHS and from loved ones, I'm pleased to say that my story has a happy ending, as when I told my father, aged 28, that I was bisexual, his only response was, "How could I ever think that he would disown me?" This was my father, who had been born and raised in a small village in the Punjab, only to come to the UK aged 21 himself to have an arranged marriage with my mother, who said this to me. And to be honest, having this level of acceptance gave me the confidence to stand here in front of you all today. So thank you, Dad. You may be wondering why I've shared my story in this week's vlog. However, within my own experience, I think it would be fair to say that there are some common themes around culture, lived experiences and inequalities that cuts across all of our services within RDaSH. In Talking Therapies, which is a free service that offers both cognitive behavioural therapy and counselling to patients either face-to-face or virtually for anxiety and depression-based disorders, we're working hard to develop new and exciting pathways to help tackle health inequalities from all perspectives. Whether it be with our drug and alcohol services and partners or our CAMHS teams, we're wanting to increase our joint working within and outside the Trust to help those who would benefit from some short-term therapy. As part of Promise 8 and the RDaSH 5, we're also looking to increase the access for older adults. Older adults are widely known to benefit from therapy once they have accessed treatment. However, one challenge we can face is needing to remind this particular population that they are no burden on the NHS and that we are here to help. Excitingly, we have also been strengthening our veteran offer within our services, linked with Promise 11. That is, if you or yourself or are close to someone who is or was part of the armed forces community, We can expedite you for treatment if the problem you present with is linked with the time served. Though I could talk much more about our aims as a service in regards to health inequalities, and in particular the experience of the BAME and LGBTQ+ community, I'm sadly conscious of time. But this does give me the opportunity to say that if anyone would like to speak to me about talking therapies, then please do get in touch via my email or via our website. And finally, I mentioned at the start of this vlog about Toby honing in on his rounder skills, and that's because tomorrow is our long-awaited RDaSH Fun Day, which is taking part at Clifton Park in Rotherham. I just wanted to say on behalf of the Trust that I hope everyone has a fantastic and much fun-filled day, rounders or not, and thank you ever so much for taking the time to listen to me today. I wish you all a lovely weekend.